my name is Betty Bastidas. I am Ecuadorian American. I moved from Ecuador when I was 8 to the United States. Migrated with my parents, and I'm living here in New York ever since.
Differences in how Latinos identify in America versus in Ecuador.
Well, I think the biggest differences are that New York is a big melting pot, so you're exposed to all different Latinidades, people from all different countries in Latin America and South America and Central America and Africa, everywhere. So in that sense, I feel like you're more connected to and more exposed to other cultures that are different than yours. While in Ecuador, it's mostly, you're Ecuadorians, people from Ecuador, and then, those Colombians here and there that end up migrating to Ecuador because of guerrilla or war, like civil conflict. So I personally, in my life, have benefited a lot from being exposed to many cultures and ethnicities. I appreciate and I love people from all backgrounds. So when I go back to Ecuador, I find it a little bit jolting or hard to forgive people for their ignorances. And I find a lot of ignorance is like they're just people judge a lot based on people's colors of their skin, or there's a lot of social classifications. And for someone that didn't grow up with that so much or didn't hold on to that, I'm actually it bothers me. It bothers me to the point where I try to show it in my work as a way to bring it up in discussion, as a way to open up dialogue so that we can move forward and we can, have a just and equal society for everybody. It doesn't matter where you come from, we're all one race, essentially.
So how do you personally identify as a Latino? What does being Latino mean to you?
Being Latino means... that's a loaded question. I mean, being Latino, I think I identify more so with being an immigrant, more so than like a Latino. I'm I'm Ecuadorian American. Being an immigrant for me had more of a influence, I guess, on me, just from my experiences growing up here. I was first undocumented when I first came here, so I had to deal with a lot of just struggle of feeling like I'm good enough to fit in, and not feeling like I was, because I was undocumented here, and that makes you like a second-class citizen. And it was my parents' decision to come here, and yet I was kind of having to like live the repercussions of their decisions, and it made it a little bit hard. It made it hard for me. So I think those experiences of feeling like left out, not good enough, and then finally saying, like I want to say fuck this, but like forget this. I don't taking on a whole different attitude of like, well, I'm gonna if they don't see that I can contribute to the society, then I'm gonna make sure I'm doing what I can on my part, and who cares what anybody else is saying. So I made it a point to show that in my work, and that's pretty much like the thread of all like the photo essays and films that I do. They're all commenting on society, and they're all highlighting a struggle and people that are overcoming struggle. People that are not letting themselves be held back because of their circumstances.
How did you become legal?
How did I become legal? I oh wow. Well, okay. So I'm gonna be frank. I was 17 years old, and it was time for me to go to college, and I wasn't able to. I had the grades to be able to go to like a 4-year school like NYU or any school that was accredited like and reputable. But I couldn't. I was stuck. I was in limbo because of my status. So, as my boyfriend at the time, he's mulatto, and he just believed in he believed in me enough to give me the opportunity, and actually we got married, and that's how I was able to like get my papers or my legal status.
So how did your family get here?
My family, we came on what do you say? On like a temporary visa.
And
So
you
my
never
parents,
left?
yeah. So my parents never left. And there's a whole there's a lot of issues I have around just illegal or undocumented immigration. I mean, I feel like there was one point in our time when there's no barriers, there is no divisions, so it's just necessities that makes people migrate. And ever since once I did become a citizen, I mean, all I'm doing is contributing to society. So it just goes to say, like if you provide, or if this government can provide the opportunity for people, they're gonna shine through. People come here to work, so it's given the opportunity, like celebrate people as opposed to oppressing them.
What do you think of the current immigration policy?
It's defunct. I mean, current immigration policy is not working, and right now we're in the business of actually deporting people, and that is a costly endeavor. So, and emotional like impact on the families that are being separated because we're like having so many deportations, and because we're investing so much money on like creating a wall that people, because of necessity, are gonna just do whatever they can in their power to move. That's what we do naturally. We migrate.
So what do you think when you hear, because you hear this so much about when politicians say secure our borders, what, I guess, emotion or what's your opinion when you hear that?
I hear fear. I hear people that are afraid of, I would say a regime that's based on fear rather than actually giving people the opportunity and hearing people's stories out, because everybody has a story and everybody has a struggle. So our immigration policy at the moment is not taking that into consideration. And we're like, it's too systematic. It's like not accounting for people and families breaking apart and the impact that it's making on the people. And it's not looking at the contributions and the positivity that having immigrants here like has done for this country. The census is not going to know it's a complex, like, being Latino is complex. I mean, being Latino is so many things for so many different people. For me, like, I identify with being an immigrant. I mean, but I'm also here, and I identify a lot with being an Ecuadorian New Yorker, So it's very complex, and something like that, the census and checkboxing things doesn't account for those complexities. And by not accounting for them, we're not really leaving room for a dialogue, or we're not acknowledging that it exists. And in order for things to exist, I think it's got to be beyond, a checkbox. It's got to be leaving a place, or it's got to be, I don't know, it's more than what the census can offer.
A blank, maybe?
A blank? That would be great. Options for people are good, because if you give people options, they'll take them. Tell
me about your film, your documentary.
My documentary. So I've been working on my documentary. It's called DreamTown. It's a 4-year work in progress, and it follows 3 soccer players as they pursue their dreams to become professional, like soccer players. And it's a look into the realities that Afro-Latinos and these players face in order to, and the sacrifices that they make in order to actually reach their dreams and save their families from very marginalized and poor situations.
Como en el valle del Chota, como en la cantita de tierra, no importa que esto sea entre millones, toma, tuya, otra vez.
¿De dónde es esta selección africana? Son jugadores justamente de la zona del valle, los que en este momento están destacando.
Why did you decide to do this documentary versus another one, per se?
I felt this DreamTown it gives me the opportunity to talk about race, talk about identity, something that I've never really felt truly comfortable talking about in Ecuador, where I feel like there's not enough. A dialogue needs to open up when it comes to those themes and issues in order to rightfully acknowledge a marginalized community who's never really been acknowledged yet, whose story hasn't been told, and yet from this very small place comes about 7 players, like more than half of the World Cup squad that took us to the World Cup. So they're a reason for giving so much pride, so much joy, and yet we go back to their places where they originate, and these places are still forgotten about. These places are still in need of basic services. They're still in need of infrastructure, education, and healthcare, and it shouldn't be that way. It's an injustice to small minorities, an injustice to all. So it's a good reason. I mean, for me, it's like a good way to bring up those things that need dialogue.
Que el niño, pues el día de mañana no sea un conformista, sino que tenga las ganas de llegar a conquistar cualquier profesión. La alegría más grande, ¿sabes cuál es? Que tú le lleves un mensaje a tu gente.
El futuro de mis hijos, yo necesito que no se vayan a decaer. Y el Señor, como es grande, es poderoso, Él les ha de bendecir para que salgan en su futuro, en su juventud, y puedan hacer algo por el Ecuador.
One of the things that really inspired the need, or the thought that there is a need to discuss race and to discuss identity in Ecuador for me, and what motivated the documentary, is my own experiences here of being an immigrant and feeling like you're outcast, or feeling like you're second class. And I think those experiences have been ingrained in me so much to the point where I am able to identify in a strong way to communities that are marginalized, communities that are oppressed, but yet they're like doing they're coming up, whether it's be using soccer or as their tool for empowerment, or using music as their weapon. They're not letting themselves be held back. That for me has been like a major place of inspiration, and kind of motivating me to do this documentary. But through this journey, I'm learning about I am learning about race in a way that I guess I didn't know what I was going into when I first began the project, and how much of history there is to learn, how much um, yeah, how many layers there is to uncover, and really acknowledgement and is due, and in order for that to happen, I think I don't know. I don't even know if my film can do that, but I know that it's my job to do it. So it's my job to put it out there, whether people are ready for it or not. Let history be the judge of that.
What do you want the documentary to achieve?
Ultimately, I want people to know about this region in Chota Valley. I would love being a bridge and having organizations and create intercultural experiences where youth from here are able to go over there, where organizations feel empowered and feel connected to these folks enough to be able to create an exchange of services that can be uplifting and empowering to residents of the Chota Valley. For example, like doing a community service project, bringing youth from here, going over there, and they are doing a mural that's going to beautify the community, or doing a soccer camp. There's always people want to help each other, and so when you present them with an opportunity to do so, or the need to do so, I have a lot of faith in humanity, and that's one of the reasons I do the work that I do, is to inspire people to action and to help one another, and to know that every little bit is a seed of hope, and creates that opportunity for change and for a better place. I grew up Catholic, but not really identifying to being Catholic, and it never really resonated with me. So I've done a lot of readings on Buddhism, and I would say I'm a very spiritual person. I feel we are all very much interconnected, and we can all do good for humanity, and everybody has a specific role in this life, and the faster that you can discover it, the more of service you can be for you and for others. Yoga.